West Ham are on the brink of Champions League qualification and one game away from winning the FA Cup for the first time since 1980, and today is the day the players have the chance to write their name in the history books of West Ham United. But as ever, if you're enjoying the series so far, please feel free to like and subscribe, and let's get into today's episode. Now, with us managing to open up an 8-point gap in the Premier League table to our arch rivals Chelsea and Arsenal sitting in the final Champions League spot with just 5 games remaining, we're going to be kicking off this episode with a taste of what is to come, because we're going to be facing off at home against our London rivals Arsenal, the very team that we're going to be facing in the FA Cup final later on. And if we can put a marker down in this game, secure the 3 points and secure our spot in the Champions League next season, it's also really going to give us the confidence we need to go out and secure our first trophy of this career mode. Hanko, oh my word, he's under a bit of pressure from Saka, but he's wriggled away really nicely, and he's managed to find some space out wide to Tierney, the former Arsenal man on the left-hand side. He's under even more pressure. Clearly, Arsenal starting off this game with a very high press here, looking to catch my defence out, but we've done a really good job of beating that press and finding our way into the penalty area as it falls to James Ward-Prowse, who forces Ramsdale into an early save. And of course, it is going to be that man who's going to take the resulting corner. I'm going to fling this one in, looking for the penalty spot. Finds Jared Bowen with the head. Ramsdale with his second big save inside the opening 10 minutes here. It's been all West Ham so far, and this is exactly the sort of way that I was hoping to start this game. It's Odegaard now for Arsenal, freeing himself of quite a bit of space, but he's in a bit of a tangle there with James Ward-Prowse, and the Englishman has come off the better of the two, and he's won the ball back really well. And now Jared Bowen's going to try and feed this through the channel into Kudos. He's done a really good job. Kudos across the box. Fortunately for Arsenal, Jurrien Timber was in the right place at the right time. Diamande short into James Ward-Prowse. He's taken out from behind there. A bit of a rash challenge, and it's a straight red card. My word, I didn't even really see it in real time as to how bad that challenge was. It was an absolute scissor kick from behind. A horrendous challenge, a deserved red card, and things go from bad to worse for Arsenal as they're now down to 10 men. Well, I'll tell you what, if the FA Cup final starts in the same fashion, I will be absolutely delighted with how this one's gone. We've been the better team, and now we're up by one man, and Savio now plays it into the big sweet Gyökeres, who's going to try and see if he can find an option out wide of Van Ewig on the right-hand side. He does. Van Ewig to cut it back into Gyökeres. It's blocked off, but Kudos is there inside the 6-yard box to give us a 1-0 lead here. Well, Arsenal defensively totally opened up at will, and look at the fans go absolutely wild. Gyökeres with the ball out to Van Ewig, cut it back. Arsenal thought they'd done enough to put the block in, but Kudos read it perfectly, got there ahead of the goalkeeper, and that is a poacher's finish if I've ever seen one. Lovely goal, 1-0. Diamande under a lot of pressure there from Odegaard, once again has managed to wriggle away from it, and Alvarez now plays it into Van Ewig. We are just opening up this Arsenal defence at will, and Gyökeres gets his first goal. It's our second, and we are totally and utterly ripping Arsenal to shreds here at the London Stadium. Well, it's absolutely brilliant. We carved through the Arsenal defence like a knife through butter, and that is a fabulous finish from the big Swede once again. Great to see him back on the goal-scoring charts. 2-0 West Ham. Well, going down to 10 men so early has done Arsenal no favours whatsoever. At the start of the second half, we lead 2-0, and if we can continue in this fashion, surely that will mean Champions League qualification is secured. Jorginho. Lovely ball out to Sambi Lokonga, who manages to get there ahead of David Hanko. Really good stuff from the young Arsenal player. Saka now has it once again. Arsenal trying to see if they can find a way back into this game and give themselves some much needed momentum here. Trossard balloons it over the bar. It's Gabriel now into Jorginho. James Ward-Prowse with a really good challenge right in the centre of the park here, and Alvarez has the chance to release Jared Bowen, who's been uncharacteristically quiet so far in this game, but he's got the opportunity to lay on an assist for Kudos, who looks for his second. Doesn't manage to get it. This time Alvarez tried a crunching volley, but in the end just got blocked off. It's Sambi Lokonga now for Arsenal. This game is really starting to heat up and starting to turn into a real end-to-end affair, which, to be fair, is not really what we want here. We want to try and maintain our professionalism and just see this game out, but Arsenal are keen to take it to us, even though they've got a man down. They've played it into Saka. Areola forced into an important save. Savio now, the Brazilian, to take it down the left-hand side. Feeds in James Ward-Prowse. James Ward-Prowse has the option of the big sweet Gyökeres. Does manage to find him, and he's got the pace and power to get away from a couple of the Arsenal defenders here. Keeps the ball alive with Kieran Tierney. He plays it into James Ward-Prowse. He plays it over to Alvarez now. We're just waiting, biding our time, trying to find our spot. In the end, we don't. It's a good interception from Gabriel as Arsenal now have the opportunity to break once again. It's Odegaard going one-on-one with Diamande. The young man just doesn't have the energy to keep up with him. And now Havertz into the box here. Havertz is blocked off by Hanko, though. Brilliant defending. Havertz now into Jorginho. Strikes. Arsenal are back into this game. 2-1 with 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining on the clock. Well, once again, it's all too easy for Arsenal to get through our defence here in the second half. Lovely little think over. Havertz with the volley into Jorginho, who absolutely lashed it right past Areola, who had no chance whatsoever. And Arsenal have found a route back into this game, 2-1. Well, for me now, this is all about just keep ball. We cannot do anything silly. Just like that, Kieran Tierney against his former club has gone and given it away in a really dangerous position. And Arsenal have got their tails up here. And of the two teams, they look like they're more likely to go and get the equaliser than we are to see the whole game out. Kieran Tierney, though, manages to wriggle away from a couple of challenges. Plays it into Dewsbury Hall on as a sub. Gyökeres round the corner into Savio. And now this is the chance for us to put the icing on the cake. The Brazilian Savio does just that. And Ramsdale can do absolutely nothing about it. Look at the celebrations. He knows just how important that goal was in the grand context of the Premier League, Champions League qualification fight. And my word, has the young Brazilian just sealed our spot in Europe's biggest cup competition next season. Well, from one end of the field to the other, from us looking like we're about to concede to get the goal that is hopefully going to seal 3 points for us here today. Wonderful finish. He drove into the penalty area and he always looked like scoring. 3-1. Well, that is it here today. The Brazilian is all smiles as he heads off the pitch as he knows just how big of a goal that was. As a full-time hero finishes, West Ham 3, Arsenal 1. Well, Savio's had a bit of an up and down start to life in West Ham colours, but so far in the back end of this season, he's really come alive. 11 goals and 9 assists in 38 appearances in all competitions, and now the 21-year-old is well and truly establishing himself as one of my best players, now up to 85 rated. And with that result pushing Arsenal now down to 7th spot, it means Aston Villa are the only team on our tails for the final Champions League spot. But with a 12-point gap and just 4 games remaining, all West Ham United need is 1 point to secure Champions League qualification for next season. And after not being able to get the job done, losing 3-1 away from home against Manchester City, I have decided to take matters into my own hands here in front of our own fans at the London Stadium. We finally have the chance to seal our fate against Leeds United, a team that we will be expected to beat. The fans are cheering, the players are ready, I'm ready. Let's go out there and get 3 points. It's Kieran Tierney. Down the left-hand side into the goal scorer Savio in our very last game. And Savio now drives into the box full of energy, full of confidence. Lays it into Jared Bowen, who I thought was about to nestle a strike into the back of the net. But somehow, Meslier, with a save from absolutely nowhere, keeps the scores at 0-0. But we do have a corner here inside the opening 5 to 6 minutes. And of course, it's one that James Ward-Prowse is going to take. Throws it into the box, looking for Gyökeres, who manages to get his head on it. But it's straight into the arms of Meslier once again. Well, we're 20 minutes in, and aside from those opening couple of opportunities, it's been a pretty quiet affair so far. But Leeds have a corner, they've thrown it in the end they lose it, and Savio now manages to get onto the loose ball, and the Brazilian has surely got the pace to get away from this Leeds United defence. And look at the pace here, but Yilmaz is doing a really good job of keeping up with him. He's continuing his run into the box though. He's looking for the cut back into Gyökeres. In the end got the cross all wrong. That would have been a brilliant opportunity, but we've kept it alive here with James Ward-Prowse, who's going to try and go down the right hand side. Tried to play it into Kudos, but once again it was good defending from Ridvan Yilmaz, and now Jorginho can try and bring this one away into Alvarez. Alvarez now cuts it back into Kudos. Kudos into Savio. Savio looking for Kieran Tierney down the left-hand side. Manages to find him. He tries to ghost into the box. It goes to Jared Bowen on his left. Straight at Meslier. And the bounce went all over the place. And in the end, West Ham unable to find the back of the net, as instead we find ourselves in an offside position. It's Gnonto out wide on the left-hand side for Leeds. Tries to go past Van Awig. I thought it was a very good challenge, but the referee has other ideas. And it looks like he is about to give a penalty to Leeds United here. Let's check the replay out. Van Awig came across. And I mean, it's a tough one, some might say, and I thought he won the ball, but potentially got a little bit of the player as well. And now it looks like Leeds United have a wonderful opportunity here to put themselves 1-0 up at the London Stadium. It's going to be Gnonto who's going to step up to take this one. I'm going to dive to the left-hand side, but it was too powerful and too high for the goalkeeper. And Gnonto has given Leeds United a 1-0 lead here at the London Stadium. Well, not the opening start to this first half that we wanted. After being the better team in the opening 10 minutes, things have just fizzled out a little bit, and the moment is getting to us. And Leeds United take the lead. It's Rutter for Leeds United, out to Harrison on the right-hand side, and they're coming again here, right on the stroke of half-time. This time it's Kieran Tierney who comes across with a good challenge. He does, in fact, win the ball, but Leeds United have a corner here, and now they've got an opportunity to try and double their lead. It's floated into the edge of the 6-yard box. Kudos manages to get his head on it, as does Kieran Tierney. Only out as far as Ampadu. Plays it into Harrison on the edge of the box. Gnonto, the goal scorer, has it once again. This time, it's Kieran Tierney with the challenge. It goes out for another Leeds United corner. But as we begin this second half here, we've just got to remember, all we need is a point. We've just got to make sure that we get a goal here in the second half and we keep it tight and we do not do anything stupid. If we get one single point, West Ham United will be playing Champions League football next season. And it's Alvarez now picks it up in the centre of the park. finds Gyökeres, who's trying to see if he can find an opening, but he does manage to find a ball out to Kieran Tierney on the left-hand side. But now he's looking for the big Swede to try and make his way back into the box here. Tierney across into Jarrod Bowen, but eventually Leeds United manages to head the ball clear, and now they're going to try and see if they can hit us on the counter-attack with Pirro. He's up on his own, but he's managed to hold up the ball and finds the goal scorer Gnonto. Gnonto out to the left-hand side into Ridvan Yilmaz. He's under a bit of pressure here, and he loses it to Jarrod Bowen, but in the end the referee gives away a foul. Llorente all the way out to Ridvan Yilmaz on the left-hand side. Gnonto has it. Leeds playing some really good football here. And Rutter has it now inside our box here. Diamande, though, comes across with a challenge. And every single time I'm in the penalty area, I'm always worried that I'm going to give away a penalty. The amount of penalties this team have given away so far on this game. As I try and play it across into Kudos. He does manage to win the second ball, though. And now the young man can try and see if he can burst into the box here. Can he try and find the cutback? He does find the cutback, but Ampadu is in the right place at the right time. And I thought that was going to be the moment we were about to equalise. Well, we've got 20 minutes on the clock here. And so far, we have really struggled to break down this low block that Leeds United are playing. Defensively, they've been absolutely outstanding, and to be honest, every time they go forward, they also look like they're going to catch us on the counter-attack and score, and once again, they're looking likely to do so once again. It's Drama now, back into Harrison. He gets it back on the right-hand side, floated into the box. It's a good head, it's over the bar. It's Emerson now on as a substitute, plays it to another substitute in Somerville, who looks to try and see if he can find his fresh legs and try and see if he can find his way into the penalty area here, but he's running right to the edge, cuts it back into Gyökeres. Gyökeres looking for an option, finds Alvarez. Alvarez to lay on a strike, puts it wide. Van Awig central into Dewsbury Hall. Alvarez now around the corner into Eze, also on as a substitute. I'm throwing absolutely everything I can at this game to try and see if I can find a way back into it. As Eze round the corner into Van Awig, he's offside. Well, only a couple of minutes remain on the clock here as Ridvan Yilmaz brings this one away. We've got to try and see if we can find a way back into this game here, but Leeds United are doing absolutely everything in their power, and while West Ham United about to throw away one of the biggest moments in their history here as Christensen now wins it back into Gnonto. Gnonto gives it away to Eze. Eze has the chance to bring this one clear into Jarrod Bowen. Gyökeres now trying to see if he can find some sort of option. Eze is going to continue his run on the right-hand side. I do eventually manage to find him. The young Englishman is going to try and bring this down to the right-hand side. Has he got any options up ahead of him? Leeds, though, are defending valiantly here. He has managed to keep hold of the ball. Dewsbury Hall into Alvarez. Alvarez into Gyökeres. Smashes it against the defender. And Leeds United clear their lines and the referee blows for full time. Well, are West Ham United buckling under the pressure at the worst possible time in the season? A game that everyone expected us to win. We've gotten completely thrown away. As at full time here, it finishes West Ham 0, Leeds 1. However, in spite of me seemingly doing everything I can to throw away our Champions League chances after beating Brentford 3-1 in our very next game and picking up a point on the road against Nottingham Forest, West Ham United have done the unthinkable, something that no West Ham fan would have thought we would be able to do at the beginning of the season. That is right, 4th place in the Premier League, and West Ham United will be playing Champions League football next season. Of course, the big Swede Victor Gyökeres, after a shaky start to the season, finishes off our top goal scorer with 21 goals and 9 assists in all competitions, and now has established himself as the best player in the entire team with an 86 rating. Of course, Jarrod Bowen, the West Ham legend, is second on the list, 19 goals and 5 assists in another stellar campaign for the Englishman, and Savio now, at just 21 years of age, chips in with 11 goals and 9 assists in all competitions so far. My word, he has the potential to develop into a truly world-class player in this career mode. For me, looking at this team though, if I want to take the squad to the next level next season, there are a few key areas of the team that I think I'm going to need to improve. I think a new goalkeeper to potentially replace Alphonse Areola is definitely going to be my number one priority. With Milan Van Awig being the only senior right back at the club, I'm certainly going to need some cover for him. With James Ward-Prowse not getting any younger, and with Kieran Dewsbury Hall unable to replace him in the starting 11, I certainly think I'm going to need some form of improvement at the heart of my midfield. And with the 35-year-old Michail Antonio retiring at the end of the season, it's only going to leave me with Victor Gyökeres as the one and only established striker up front. I'm certainly going to need another partner for the big Swede. And of course, with Champions League football, I am hoping to get a European-sized budget to match. So once again, let me know down below in the comments who you would like to see in a West Ham United shirt next season and which players you think are the ones to take this team to the very next level and hopefully maybe go one step further and win the Premier League. Speaking of Michail Antonio though, with the West Ham icon desperate to try and see if he can see out his career with what will be a monumental win in the FA Cup, it is finally time for the fans to get their opportunity to ahead back to Wembley in what is going to be the biggest game of this career mode so far. That is right, against our arch rivals from London Arsenal, the FA Cup final. Let's see if West Ham can win their first trophy of the season. And of course, with such a big game, it is obviously a return to my strongest starting 11. Areola in goal, Van Ewig, Diamande, Hanko and Tierney make up the back line. James Ward-Prowse and Alvarez in midfield, Kudos, Savio behind Gyökeres and Jarrod Bowen up front. Well, these players have the chance to write their name in the history books of West Ham United. They haven't won the FA Cup since 1980, and finally we have the opportunity to do the unthinkable. But it's Saka now for Arsenal to take the game to us in the opening 5 minutes down this right hand flank. He's managed to wriggle his way past a couple of different challenges here. Laid it off to Sambi Lokonga, who struck from distance. And I thought that was about to nestle into the top left hand corner, but in the end he got it all wrong and it goes out for a goal kick. Areola with a pass out to Diamande. He's under all sorts of pressure here. This Arsenal press is absolutely relentless in the opening 15 minutes here, but Diamande has done enough to wriggle away from it, and he's done a really good job until he went and gave the ball away to Jorginho. And now Arsenal have it again. They've certainly started the better of the two teams here in the opening 20 minutes. There's Acuna now down the left hand side as Arsenal look to try and see if they can get a goal here in the early stages of this game to put themselves in a commanding position. Declan Rice wriggling away from several challenges and driving into the box here. Arsenal playing some really good football into Emile Smith-Rowe, and it's Areola with a big save, and Hanko clears his lines. My word, we breathe a sigh of relief there. Arsenal all over us here in the opening 25 minutes. We cannot seem to get out of our own half here. Sambi Lokonga has it once again. He's being challenged by James Ward-Prowse, and eventually the former Arsenal man Kieran Tierney is the man who wins it back, but the goalkeeper gives it away in a really dangerous position, and he got away with one there, did Areola, as Emile Smith-Rowe really should have done better in that position. Tierney down the left-hand side into James Ward-Prowse. Finally, we have the chance to run into the Arsenal half here, and he's got space. Picks out a nice ball to Gyökeres. Gyökeres now down the right-hand side into Milan Van Ewig. Van Ewig to take it on, forces Ramsdale into his first save of the game. But this game is really starting to heat up here. 32 minutes on the clock, and we've got our first corner of the game. James Ward-Prowse flings it in, looking for the big sweep. Doesn't manage to find him, but Savio will get the knockdown, and James Ward-Prowse has another opportunity to throw it back in, looking for the back post. It's a poor cross from the man who you would not expect it to be. And it's easy in the end for Ramsdale. Saka, though, for Arsenal. He's got the overlapping Ben White down the right-hand side, and he's got the better of Kieran Tierney now as the former Arsenal man frantically trying to come back across. Diamande, though, with a big header to loop it away. Have we managed to get onto the loose ball? Yes, we have. James Ward-Prowse now has the chance to bring this one away. I'm going to try and see if I can feed this one down the channel. It's a wonderful ball, and Gyökeres has got ahead of the Arsenal defence here. The big Swede in, and the big Swede gives us a 1-0 lead here, right on the stroke of half-time, and it's an absolutely incisive counter-attack. Well, from dominating the game, the Arsenal players cannot quite believe it. That high press and high lying has come back to bite them, and it was a wonderful ball through from my captain, James Ward-Prowse. And when Victor Gyökeres has that much space to run into, he's got the pace to get away from the Arsenal defence, and his cool, calm and composed finish gives us a 1-0 lead. And it's been an exhilarating first half here so far at Wembley. Both teams have had opportunities to score, but fortunately enough for me, we have been the only team to be able to do so. We lead 1-0, and we've got 45 minutes to make history. Emile Smith-Rowe into Jesus. Jesus has an option down the left-hand side, doesn't choose to use it instead. Looks like he's going to go down the right-hand side, but actually he keeps hold of it himself, and he's continuing his run, and in the end it's Kieran Tierney who manages to get the block in, but the ball is bouncing around like a pinball on the edge of my box. Areola forced into another save, and it looks like Arsenal got a corner. Declan Rice has it now for Arsenal, trying to see if he can get away from the Brazilian Savio, but he's done a really good job of shacking back, and now Gyökeres can try and see if he can feed a ball through into Jarrod Bowen, who just hasn't got the pace to get away from Acuna, but he does! Oh my word! In the end, I pressed the circle button to try and put a challenge in, and we won the ball back and smashed it from about 25 yards out. And my word, what a save from Ramsdale, but we've got a corner for our troubles. James Ward-Prowse, of course, is going to be the man who's going to step up and take this, throws it into the box, looking for Gyökeres. It's Yoro who ends up heading it clear, only out as far as Gabby Jesus, who does eventually manage to clear his lines, and Arsenal get the ball clear. Well, there's just under 20 minutes plus stoppage time remaining on the clock here for us to hold firm, and so far, so good. And so far, we've just won the ball back in a really dangerous position. Jarrod Bowen trying to get past Gabriel, but solid defending from the young man, and now Alvarez picks it up in the centre of the park. Savio now across to Kudos. Kudos has an option of Van Ewig, but he can't quite find him, so he's wriggling around trying to find a better one. Instead finds Jarrod Bowen. He switches it onto his left, goes to line up a strike, and that is an absolutely wonderful goal from the West Ham legend that is Jarrod Bowen, and he's just picking up a habit of scoring huge goals in cup finals. Well, I thought the chance was lost, and I thought Gabriel had done enough to shield Jarrod Bowen, but he managed to find a yard of space, switched it onto his left, and he still had so much work to do from that angle. But what a fabulous strike, and of course, who else is it going to be? Jarrod Bowen, 2-0. Well, we took a 2-0 lead against Arsenal in the Premier League in our first game of this episode, and they rallied, they got one back, and they made it really difficult for us at the end, but we've just got to make sure that we do a better job of staying professional, keeping keeping hold of this lead, and we do not give Arsenal an inch. We do not let them back into this game at all. Gyökeres into Somerville. Somerville across to Jared Bowen. Oh, he's ballooned it over the bar. But as it is going to be his last appearance in a West Ham shirt, one icon is going to be replaced by another, as Mikel Antonio will come on for his final game in an FA Cup final. Diamande into Hanko. Arsenal still pressing high, exactly as you would expect them to. Mikel Antonio now into Alvarez. Alvarez across to Emerson on the left-hand side. Arsenal defence is being opened up at will here. Dewsbury Hall across to Antonio for his moment. In the end, Ramsdale saves. Oh, it would have been a fairy tale end to his West Ham career if he'd managed to get that one. But Dewsbury Hall picks it up again into Gyökeres. Gyökeres is going to look for Milan van Ewijk, but in the end, it's blocked off by Yoro. Deep into stoppage time here. Arsenal looking to try and see if they can catch us on the counter-attack. Trossard, though, cannot go past Diamande. Brilliant defending. We have been an absolute rock at the back here as Areola clears his lines and the referee blows for full time. Well, the West Ham players run onto the pitch. They've got absolutely nuts, and rightly so. Finally, West Ham United have won their first piece of silverware in this career mode, and my word, what a fabulous way to do it. We dominated the game and we thoroughly deserved the victory, and of course the man who's come on as a substitute for James Ward-Prowse, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, lifts the FA Cup for West Ham United for the first time since 1980. And my word, what a fabulous way to end what has been a brilliant season. Mikel Antonio gets the opportunity to say goodbye in style in front of the West Ham fans. It is a fairy tale ending for the West Ham legend. And with Champions League qualification secured and the FA Cup trophy lifted, I am confident that next season we can take West Ham United to the next level. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and I'll see you again next time for Season 3.